Hi, and welcome to the 2017 Wampus Cat Football Preseason Show. It's brought to you by Conway Regional Health System. I'm Jeff Matthews. This is Levi Gilbert. We'll be joined in a few moments by Matt Troop. Matt is the president and CEO of Conway Regional. Also, Dr. Tom Roberts will be with us to talk about sports medicine.
We'll also hear from Coach Clint Ashcraft, get a rundown of the whole season, offense and defense, and we'll get to hear from two Wampus Cat seniors, Zach Friedel and Nate Turner.
That's all part of the 2017 Wampus Cat Football Preseason Show, brought to you by Conway Regional. Welcome back to the 2017 Wampus Cat Preseason Show. I'm Jeff Matthews. Levi Gilbert is here. We're joined by Coach Clint Ashcraft as we get ready for the new football season, which we're all excited about. And Coach and the guys have been working on for a little while. And later on in the program, you'll meet a couple of those seniors. We look forward to having them as well. And Coach, thank you for being with us once again this year. We're excited about another season of Wampus Cat football. And a year ago, it didn't go like anybody hoped. But you start looking at it, you look at a 3-7 season, you think, gosh, that wasn't a whole lot of success. But then you really start breaking it down. This team fought, and they fought, and they fought. And I think at the end of the day, that's what you want to see your team do.
Well, you know, we started 0-5, and man, that was tough. But our guys did a great job. I mean, they really did. When you look at the big picture and you look at it from start to finish, you're kind of proud of it, as crazy as that may sound to a lot of people. You know, you start 0-5, and then we win 5 of our last 7. We win a home playoff game, make it into the second round, which going into week 4, 5, and 6, nobody would have thought that. So, you know, yes, it was disappointing, but at the same time, I think those guys are going to be better men for having gone through that.
A lot of injuries we had to deal with. Some of those are going to be players that we're going to be talking about this year that are back from those injuries. Let's run through the offense first. Quarterback, who you looking at there?
Well, we got, Andrew Rhea's back.
Okay.
He broke his collarbone week 2. Giovanni Johnson played, I think, 6 or 7 games. You know, Parker Teague was a quarterback that also went through injuries last year. So, you know, you have Giovanni and Andrew back, and then we've got some young guys that we really think are going to be good down the road. On the offensive line, you know, L.J. Hansberry and Lance Rogers both sustained injuries last year, and they were both, starting roles at one point or another. Nathan Turner's back. You know, we've got some guys there. KeAndre Clay's back. Thomas Cloyd missed a few games last year, and he's back. So we've got, quite a bit of experience there.
And also at running back, it was a 4-headed monster at times, but one of those monsters are back, and Michael George.
Yeah, Michael had a great year. His yards per carry was exceptional. Man, he has done great things in the weight room. That guy, he is so deceptively strong. I mean, he's a good-looking guy, but you have no idea how strong that guy is. Brennan Clark's back from a knee injury. Cary McClain is another young guy that played well for us in JV. We've got several guys there, some young guys too that we like. I think Coach Schwartz has got handling the back situation is going to be another one of those rotation deals with obviously Michael George leading the way.
Replacing a lot of guys that caught footballs, Marquise Pleasant and Jack Pillow, of course, but who do we have coming up there? And I've got a couple of guys back.
Yeah, Will McKenna, Joe Thomas, Will Kennedy, several of those guys got a lot of reps last year. At our H-back spot, Chris Patterson, Chris Anderson, Slade Smith, young guy, Nick Tufu, a junior that played well for us in JV. We got a lot of guys there. We are going to miss Marquise. He was very productive. We looking forward to see what happens with him at Ouachita in his college career. But, we got some guys there. We got some young guys to go in with those guys that played last year that we think will be fine.
One challenge of last year is all the injuries, but they got a lot of playing time. A lot of players got to see the field that maybe wouldn't have otherwise. Do you feel like your offense is a little bit ahead of schedule going into the season?
I think so. It was one of those deals, you get a lot of phone calls and stuff in the spring asking how many returning starters. The answer really, truthfully, is it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on which week we're talking about. But we had a lot of guys that got reps and then suffered injury and missed several games, and some didn't finish the year, and that allowed other young guys to get playing time. So there is maybe a little more experience and knowledge back on that side of the ball than people realize.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the defensive side of the ball and see how things shake out over there. We're talking to Coach Clint Ashcraft. It is the 2017 Wampus Cat football preseason show, and it continues next on Conway Corp Channel 5.
Your life is about to change forever, and Conway Regional will be with you every step of the way. We're committed to being the best. That's why our OBGYNs won't deliver anywhere else. Your newborn will benefit from our groundbreaking nursery alliance with Arkansas Children's Hospital. And as you adapt to the new world that's in front of you, know that everyone at Conway Regional is all on the same team. Yours. One team, one promise, Conway Regional.
Welcome back to the 2017 Wampus Cat football preseason show. It's brought to you by Conway Regional Health System. Conway Regional bringing you our entire football season once again this year, and we love our partnership with them, and we thank you for watching. We thank them, of course, for sponsoring. Coach, we've talked offense. Let's talk defense now. You've got some guys you got to replace up front, but then there's some experience a little further off the line. Let's talk about the defensive line first.
Well, we lost really the whole rotation of guys from last year. That was a heavy senior group. We got some guys that played, have gotten 2 years of junior varsity games under their belt, and then we moved some guys around too to help us there. And then we've added a guy or two from other programs in the school that have come out and joined us. So, I think that is one of the spots on our team that's going to kind of shake out, and you're just going to see who plays well early. I don't think Coach Frazier's ready to name a starting three today, but I think we got some guys there, and we'll find our best 6, 7 guys that rotate every Friday night.
Staple of your teams, and really even before you got here, Conway linebacking crew has always been good. There's always been talented guys back there. What about this year?
Well, we got some guys back there. Fusilier suffered an injury last year and missed half the season. He's back. We've actually moved Jackson Freeman from safety to an outside backer spot, and he played as a sophomore and a junior, so he'll be fine in that transition. Logan White played a lot for us last year. DJ Fuller and BJ Jones are there. Blake Walter played really good for us last year in our Monday night schedule, and Matt Lloyd has come back to the football team. He's been playing baseball, and man, he's looked really good. He's had a good spring and a good summer.
What about the secondary? Will Kennedy leads things back there?
Well, Will Kennedy, he's got 2 years under his belt already, and he's doing maybe a little more receiver than he has in the past, but he's got a lot of knowledge back there defensively, so we can afford to do that. Roman Aaron, Malik Benton, Cole Hoover, those are 4 of our guys that probably will rotate at safety. And then at the corner spot, you got Tyler Banks or Colin Normant, Riley Morales, Tez Miller moved in here from Memphis.
Okay.
Looking forward to watching Tez play. I know I'm leaving some. Darius and Darnell Washington, the 2 brothers. Those 2 guys have had good off seasons. So we've got some guys there, and I think we'll be able to rotate, especially early, and keep our guys fresh.
Good.
Last season, the team was in the negative in the turnover battle for most of the year, but caught up as the defense came on. Do you see this year's defense having a little bit more playmaking ability?
Well, that's one thing we've talked about with our guys. You kind of mold your defense to fit your personnel. And, we're not – a few years ago, we had the guys that could just kind of stand there and stonewall everybody up front, and play side to side. I don't think we're as big on that side of the ball, but I think our guys move well. So, it's a deal where we're probably going to be a little more active movement-wise than we've been in the past, because I think that benefits and helps our guys with the personnel we're looking at.
It'll be an interesting few weeks as we get ready for the start of the season, and we'll tee it up at first Friday night in Springdale. I know you're ready.
We are. We want to start on a good note, so looking forward to that one for sure.
Thank you, Coach. When we come back, we'll visit with Matt Troop. He's the president and CEO of Conway Regional Health System, and also Dr. Tom Roberts, who is with sports medicine, and how important that role is on Friday nights, from concussions to make sure that the kids are hydrated because of heat situations happen this time of year. We'll have all of that for you coming up in just a moment as the Wampus Cat preseason show continues on Conway Corp Channel 5. Hi, and welcome back to the 2017 Wampus Cat Football Preseason Show presented by Conway Regional Health System. We're joined now by Dr. Tom Roberts and Matt Troop, CEO of Conway Regional Health System, once again this year with us as we kick off the 2017 season. Let's talk about on-the-field activities first, Dr. Roberts. Of course, we're into practice now. Things are happening. We're just a couple weeks away from the first game. Preventing injuries, that's, I would think, a top goal of anyone that's in your line of work.
You bet. There's a multitude of things that we try to prevent. Probably this time of year, one of the biggest things is with heat illness. You know, you don't want somebody to have a heat stroke, so we really try to monitor that. Obviously, plenty of fluids. If somebody's feeling weak, lightheaded, those type of things, try to get them into shade. In worst case scenario, we're going to ice them down and maybe even have to take them to the hospital, but that's pretty rare. Really try to keep on top of that. That's a big problem.
How important is it, I guess it's ultimately the most important thing, for an athlete to know how to communicate that? It's probably sometimes coaches can pick up on it, but it's important that an athlete goes to a coach and says, look, I'm kind of feeling not right.
Yeah, and we try to get the trainers actually talk to them about some of their symptoms that they might have. Brooke does a great job with that. She's been with them for a long time, and Jacob's been added this year. And between the two of them, I think they do a good job of watching the athletes too, to see if somebody's not responding normally, not looking normal. Those are just, you know, if the athlete doesn't want to tell you, which sometimes they don't because they don't want to get out of there,
right.
You have to watch for those potential signs and symptoms.
Concussion protocol, you know, another huge issue for the student athletes and parents. What's your crew doing on the sidelines to help make sure these athletes are safe?
Well, a couple things. One, obviously, if you see somebody that's on the field that's disoriented or, you know, down for a few seconds, then we always check on them. Sometimes people can have, quote, their bell rung, which is obviously a concussion, but not really suffer too many symptoms, except they may have some symptoms even later with a headache or, you know, blurring of vision, those type of things. So we try to educate the players again and the coaches on what the potential symptoms are. We have a concussion protocol, so if somebody does have a concussion, we follow that very closely. If they need to see a neurologist or get further testing, we'll do that. So a lot of it is education. You know, we don't want to have repeated concussions. I mean, that's a problem.
And Matt, it's a huge responsibility that your physicians are watching over our kids. These are our students, our athletes that we care so much about. Speak to the staff that you've got and the job that they do.
We're really fortunate to have so many physicians who grew up in Conway, who went to school there, and so their level of passion and compassion for these kids really goes beyond just their vocation of medicine. It really is about their community, and so we're fortunate to have cardiologists who are really involved in our sports medicine program. Dr. Roberts mentioned neurology. We have two neurologists who are actively involved with our program as well. Orthopedic surgeons, of course, family practice physicians that are really attentive to that student athlete. And even though, as Dr. Roberts said, it doesn't happen very often that they need hospital care, that need for care and that need for somebody to watch over them, they're very precious to so many families in our community, and we want to make sure that we provide them the best, most comprehensive care we can.
There's so much more that the hospital does as well, and we want to spend some time in just a moment talking about that. We're joined by Matt Troop and Dr. Tom Roberts on the preseason show. It's the 2017 Wampus Cat football season, just right around the corner. We continue in a moment on Conway Corp Channel 5.
Your life is about to change forever, and Conway Regional will be with you every step of the way. We're committed to being the best. That's why our OBGYNs won't deliver anywhere else. Your newborn will benefit from our groundbreaking nursery alliance with Arkansas Children's Hospital. And as you adapt to the new world that's in front of you, know that everyone at Conway Regional is all on the same team. Yours. One team, one promise, Conway Regional.
And welcome back to the Wampus Cat preseason show, the 2017 football season right around the corner, and we are in the auditorium at Conway Regional Health System on College, and we're excited to be here. We're joined by Dr. Tom Roberts and Matt Troop with us a moment ago as we talked about what happens on the field with the different trainers and physicians and all the different support that goes on the field for our athletes and our students. We want to go off the field now for a little bit, and Matt, let's talk about the program. You see these bottles of water that we have here. That's a huge part of what the hospital's done now for a few years to support Conway schools.
Yeah, so for the third year, we are donating bottles of water to the school to then sell in their concession stand. This year, I believe it's somewhere around 33,000 bottles of water that will be donated to the school that the school can then sell. And so it's a great innovative program that obviously not only allows us to make a donation in support of the school, but then the school can then sell and obviously generate funds for their band and other student athlete activities.
And early on in the season, it helps hydrate some really hot fans that are in the stands. Not only Friday nights, but it's not just a Friday night thing. It's the games that happen throughout the week for all the different grade levels.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we as spectators have to hydrate as well
right.
sometimes and take care of ourselves. But it's a great program, great way to benefit the community and the school in total.
Very unique.
Saw a news story recently about one of the local schools receiving a new AED. Can you talk a little bit about how Conway Regional has helped with expand that program as well?
Yeah, so automatic external defibrillators, AEDs, are an important part of any cardiac event. And so we need to not only attend to those folks who have a myocardial infarction or a heart issue, but do so quickly and timely. And a lot of times having that AED immediately accessible is really important. There is a program called SAFE, and Conway schools just recently acquired that certification by having AEDs in all of their schools, and so we were a big part of getting them the school, getting those AEDs to the schools. So that first line of activity, that first line of reaction, is so critical when someone's having a heart attack or they're in need of that resource. They don't often have time to call 911 or to have someone else come over. So glad to be able to do that for the community.
The ties to the community are lengthy. Matt, you've been here a couple of years. Dr. Roberts, you and I were talking. You've done this for 20 plus years just with the athletic program. Speak about that a little bit, what you've seen just being a member of the Conway community and how this hospital and the schools are tied.
You know, it's been a great opportunity for the hospital to work with the community through the schools, not only caring for the athletes, but their families, helping provide the athletic trainers. You know, it's a collaborative community effort to take care of the athletes, and Conway's a big school. There's a lot of them. We're glad to have a second athletic trainer. Dr. Dave Naylor also helps out a lot with the programs. So there's a lot of different doctors involved and a lot of people, and just tremendous support system.
Well, and we appreciate your support, continued support of Wampus Cat Athletics, doing these games on Channel 5. It's fun for us to get to do. And once again this year, being on the road, you can't make it to all the road games. We're going to bring those road games back thanks to the support of the hospital.
Awesome.
So thank you both.
great.
Appreciate you very much. We will continue the preseason show that we are here in the auditorium this year of Conway Regional Health System. We'll continue just a moment on Conway Corp Channel 5. Welcome back to the 2017 Wampus Cat preseason show presented by Conway Regional Health System. I'm Jeff Matthews, joined by Levi Gilbert, and to our left is Nathan Turner and Zach Friedel, a couple of senior Wampus Cat football players. And guys, we're excited to have y'all here. Thank you for joining us. We don't get to spend nearly enough time seeing your faces. That's people ask me all the time, do you remember this player, this player, this player? Do you see them around town? I'm like, well, if they had jerseys on and helmets, I'd know who they were. So it's nice to get to see your faces. Nathan, let's begin with you. Talk about just some of the things that we talked about with Coach earlier, the things you had to go through last year. It was a tough year, a lot of injuries, way too many numbers over on the right, but you got to find some positives. So how do you go into a new season looking back?
Well, I don't know what to say.
You're all right.
Just going into it, like going into this season, I'm just excited for all the guys coming back with experience. We're losing a lot of seniors, but we're gaining those guys back with juniors that played, and then some sophomores have played too, so they're coming back. And then we have sophomores coming up that are getting some playing time, so I'm just excited for all the experience coming back.
How important is it when you've got a situation where, and last year dealing with so many injuries, and injuries from a vocal position like quarterback, where you've got Andrew's voice, you've got Parker's voice, you've got Giovanni's voice. How important is it that you guys all make sure that you're a unit, that it's not just the one guy, because that guys get hurt and you got to change out?
Yeah, it's very important. Like, we just had like miscommunication with different quarterbacks. Like, we're hearing different voices, so we got to listen to different people saying set go and going on the snap count. But we just had to bring it together.
There's so many things that we miss. I mean, it's just things like that. I never even thought about how different voices or cadence and all that stuff can affect it.
Michael George is back at running back this season. Got to be exciting as an offensive lineman to be opening up holes for him.
Yes, sir. He's had a great spring. I enjoy having him as a running back. He's a great guy. I'm just excited for him to, run for me.
I'm going to give you a second to brag, and Zach will give you a second to do the same in a moment. The weight room is very important, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You get into the trenches, and it's early season, it's hot, late in the year, you've played 10 weeks, and it's cold, you're dealing with the elements. It's that time you put in the weight room, the spring and the summer, to prepare you for that. Talk about yourself. Let's squat. What do you squat?
I squat 450.
Okay,
It's
450.
Yeah. It was tough. Like, I always set goals for myself. Like, I'm a competitor in the weight room, but I'm not trying to, there's guys that squat more than me, and I know that. So I'll just set a goal for myself, and I'll just go from there.
You compete with Zach ever in the weight room?
Yeah, I do. Well, right now, we have this thing called the 1,000-pound club, and I'm ahead of him. So it's
You're ahead of him. All right,
Yeah.
Zach, we'll give you the floor then. What about the weight room and you?
Well, it was pretty great. We all like getting to work out together and just getting stronger. Plus, we got a lot of good motivation this year just because we knew we had to step up.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, we put some music going and everybody starts bumping. We all start screaming at each other, amping each other up, and we compete. And, we'd always mess with each other when somebody beat somebody. Like if I benched more than him, I'd get up in his face.
Yeah.
And then,
Same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be surprised how often Levi and I are. That never has happened with us, actually.
Zach, a lot of starters back on defense. Pretty much the whole back eight, back as a unit. That's got to be exciting for you leading that linebacker core.
Well, it's actually going to be a really great season. I'm pretty excited, and just secondary-wise, I'm very confident, I'm not going to have to worry about a whole lot of, just receivers going down the field like that happened every once in a while last year. But I'm thinking just this year, just with the amount of experience we got, we're just going to be a lot more sound in the secondary. And even though we don't have any returning D linemen, I think that we're going to actually surprise some people just because the fact they're not going to be expecting as much might help us out a lot.
Take us onto the sideline, and we see it from the press box. As soon as the offense comes off the field, you guys are gathered around coach, and you're focused on what's next. Defense the same. How aware are you of what's happening on the field while you're on the sideline? Can you kind of gauge it by the crowd, or how do you keep in touch with what's happening during those games?
Well, I'll have there's always guys like our backups. They're always behind us, and I'll listen to coach, and I'll go back and be like, hey, what's going on right now? And then I'll listen to the crowd, whether or not the defense is making plays or something like that. But I can always see, like, between the players, I'll be able to watch the game a little bit.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't have a clue most of the time what's
Really?
going on. I mean, if you hear like somebody start cheering in the crowd, just kind of like, okay, they just got a first down.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's just kind of like, if we get called, if they call punt, we know that we're about to go out, or if they don't, that means we're doing good.
Yeah.
So
There's just an orchestra of things that are happening that, again, sitting in the press box or sitting in the stands, we just completely miss. And so it's neat to get an insight. We appreciate you guys coming by. It's going to be a good season.
thanks for having us.
We're excited. All right, we will continue more in just a moment. This is the preseason show of the 2017 Wampus Cat football season on Conway Corp Channel 5.
Your life is about to change forever, and Conway Regional will be with you every step of the way. We're committed to being the best. That's why our OBGYNs won't deliver anywhere else. Your newborn will benefit from our groundbreaking nursery alliance with Arkansas Children's Hospital. And as you adapt to the new world that's in front of you, know that everyone at Conway Regional is all on the same team. Yours. One team, one promise, Conway Regional.
Welcome back to the 2017 Wampus Cat preseason show presented by Conway Regional Health System. I'm Jeff Matthews. Levi Gilbert's here with me. We've already had a chance to talk to Coach Ashcraft. We've talked to the president and CEO of Conway Regional Health System, Matt Troop, and Dr. Tom Roberts, and also to a couple of seniors on this year's Wampus Cat team. Nathan Turner and Zach Friedel. And now it's time, Levi, to look ahead to the season that we're previewing, the 2017 season. If you remember last year, it's exactly the same schedule, just we're going to where they came to us and they're coming to us where we went. So it's an exact opposite schedule. That's where the similarities end, though, because there's a lot of different looks for teams on the side of the visiting side and the home side. Let's talk about the non-conference games first. We'll make a trip to Springdale, and then we'll be home against Jonesboro and at Bentonville. So let's talk about those 3 games first. Your thoughts of the Bulldogs?
Yeah, Bulldogs come in first, and they really surprised Conway last year.
Yes.
At home. Put up more than 400 yards of offense on us just out of nowhere. Went 3-1, but after that, the tragic accident with one of their star players. Only won one more game the rest of the season. Yeah. But in Zach Clark's 2 seasons, they've gone to the playoffs each time. So they graduated a ton of seniors, but, I mean, they're still going to be good. They still got talent all across the field.
They have a lot of talent, including Isaiah Nichols, who just the last couple of weeks committed to play his college ball for the Razorbacks. And so we'll call his name probably a lot that first Friday night in Springdale. Jonesboro comes to town, and that's a good Jonesboro team as always. Randy Coleman, they got the win a year ago, 41-38, a game that Conway got so close to winning.
Yeah. I missed out on that game. We were on Gilbert Baby Watch.
That's right.
2016. But very similar story to Springdale. They graduated 23 seniors, and they're going to look a lot different, coming to Conway this year. But Coleman, he's like 77 and 29 since he's been at Jonesboro. So they've got that program well established. They're still going to be good.
Speaking of good programs, we'll go to Bentonville in week 3.
Bentonville's Bentonville.
Yes.
I mean, what is there really to say about Bentonville? But we played them. We gave them all they could handle a year ago. Very close game. And but it's that program. It's that classic program. They're going to come in. They're going to be fully locked and loaded. And it'll be a great final test for Conway as they close out non-conference.
Yeah,
play.
once again, a great three-game stretch to begin things. Then you move to the games that count. Yep. All 7 games that count. It is the 7A Central Conference season, beginning with Southside here.
This is an important opener for Conway because there are some much tougher games on the schedule later in the conference schedule, and they really need to get off on the right foot in this opener against the Mavericks. And crazy game last year. We were on the road, just back and forth, 23-20 loss for Conway. But again, like all the other teams we mentioned, they graduated so many players. They're going to look a lot different.
So does the next team, North Little Rock. We'll go to North Little Rock. First time in a long time we've been there. We haven't seen their new stadium, which we'll see in week 4.
Yeah, I have 2 words about this game. Alex Day.
Yeah.
I mean, they graduated 2 All-State running backs and an All-State quarterback. So that's a good thing for Conway as we go on the road. They're going to look very different, like you said, but they're North Little Rock. Yeah. They have talent all across the field, and they just plug and play every year.
I said week 4. It's actually week 5 because then we start the second half of the year. It'll be Cabot at home, then at Northside, Central at home, at Catholic, and Bryant. Out of that last 5 games, pick out a couple of those to talk about.
Well, Cabot's a big game. They're going to look a lot different. No more Gerard Barnes, thankfully for us. Northside is another very important game. They had 7 players on their defense last year that are going to be on a college roster this season. So that's going to be a lot better matchup for Conway heading into the fall. And then Central and Catholic, I mean, those are trap games. Catholic especially, Sammy Johnson. That kid can run all over everyone. And then Bryant to close the season, that's every year that has huge playoff implications. They return 14 starters. So they're going to be locked and loaded. Probably the team to beat in the 7A Central.
And they're a team that played in the state semifinals last year, made it to the Final 4 essentially.
Against North Little Rock,
Right, and North Little Rock making it to the finals before getting blown out against Fayetteville. So the 7A Central season is upon us. We're excited to have those games for you once again this year. All the games will be available for you on Conway Corp Channel 5 and 585. Road games available live on Wampus Cats to Go, and we'll, of course, be telling you more about that as we get closer to the season. We appreciate you watching. We'll come back and wrap things up in just a moment on Conway Corp Channel 5. thank you for watching our preseason show for the 2017 Wampus Cat football season. Next time we see everybody, it'll be for real, Friday night, September 1st at Springdale. We're excited about that, Levi.
I think we're primed for a great year.
I do too. We're excited to bring it to you once again this year. Road games live, Wampus Cats to go. All games broadcast on Channel 5 and 585. Check for the schedule. You'll be able to find these games. We're excited to bring them to you for year 17 of Wampus Cat football on Conway Corp Channel 5.